Welcome to Mighty Morphin Ranger Danger, the podcast where we watch an episode of the television series Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and then after that, we talk about it at length.
Go, go, Ranger Danger! Go, go, Ranger Danger! Go, go, Ranger Danger! Matt and Michael's Ranger Danger!
Today on the show, we'll be watching episode number 58, which is entitled Football Season.
Yep, I'm excited for football season. It's all about the yardage. That's what I always say.
Yardage.
If I said it once, I said it 1,000 times.
And icing the knee. But before we get to that, I want to tell you that our website is www.rangerdangerpodcast.com, where you can find show notes and our list of monster rankings and all sorts of fun bits and pieces.
Yep.
It's also just pretty to look at, frankly. You can also send us an email, which we dearly love.
Yep.
rangerdangerpodcast@gmail.com.
That's the one.
You can send us our Twitter.
Yep.
At our Twitter account, which is RangerDcast. That's our handle. We're also on iTunes and on Stitcher and on YouTube and on Google+.
And on Facebook? Did you say
And
Facebook?
on Facebook. Also on
Yeah.
Facebook. So
Basically, if you want to find us...
you can find us in multiple ways.
Yeah.
And we appreciate that because we love you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nearly as much as you love us.
Now, Tim is back on the show.
I'm back.
Welcome back, Tim.
I'm here.
You are, sorry, I can see you. We're going to talk about a few things before we watch the episode today.
Sure.
What are we going to talk about, Michael?
Zordon wrote a book, Matt.
Okay, now when you say that,
Yes.
he doesn't have arms,
Yes.
so I don't understand how that could happen.
No, I understand how you're confused.
It's like the diving bell thing. He blinked and they transcribed it.
I mean, he can speak, so he could have just...
Use like that dragon, or like
Well, I assumed Alpha would have written it down for him.
that. Okay, that's another way.
No, but obviously we don't mean Zordon.
Yeah,
Obviously we mean David Fielding.
right.
He played... So he was always the head of Zordon, at least for Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Yep.
And he was the voice of Zordon through most of the first season.
Okay.
So we're nearing the end of his time as the voice of Zordon.
Yep.
But, you know, his head will be in our hearts.
Kind of like that two-headed beast we saw a couple of episodes ago. That had
with the
the face in its
Gotan, the
chest.
Stormbringer.
That's it. God, that's the best name for a monster the show's ever had.
Yes.
Gotan the Stormbringer. Okay. Moving on.
So his book is called Buddy Holly and the Cold, Cold Ground.
Yeah.
It's available from Amazon for like $3.50.
And it's about Buddy Holly, I guess.
I think, yes, it does appear to be about Buddy Holly. I haven't read it.
Yeah.
I might pick it up for $3.50 and give it a read.
Why not? That's not a big investment.
No.
We'll put a link to the Amazon page in our show notes
Yes,
so you
we
can buy
will.
it too if you want. And just looking at the cover, I'm guessing it's some sort of like noir crime mystery
I think that certainly looks likely, yes.
that Buddy Holly gets himself involved in.
Yeah,
Which,
I don't
look,
know
that's
how.
a good a hook as any.
Yeah, I mean, he's pretty dead.
Well, yes, but that's the magic of books,
It's
Michael.
probably pretend.
Maybe he's stuck in a time warp.
Alright, that's something else we want to talk about as
Okay,
well.
yes. So, the Power Rangers Super Megaforce finale
Yes,
aired in France, I think, or
Yep.
possibly England.
Somewhere.
Some country that isn't America. And for about, I don't know, a couple of hours maybe a couple of days, it was up on YouTube.
yeah. You could find it.
I'm sure you
Floating
could
around.
find it elsewhere online. I watched it.
Yeah.
I was curious.
Yeah.
I wanted to see all those Power Rangers return.
Yeah. 'Cause just for those who don't know, it was the legendary battle. All of the previous Power Rangers return. Some of them, the actors themselves return.
Yes.
And team up with the Super Megaforce Rangers for their final battle.
Yep.
Is basically the gist of it. They've been promoting it for literally 2 years.
Yeah, well, I mean, they filmed it nearly a year ago now.
Yeah.
Possibly even earlier than that.
Yeah. And they used the Japanese footage in the very first episode of Megaforce, that was 2 years ago, as like a dream that the Red Ranger had, like a premonition, I guess.
Yeah.
So it's been a thing that they've been leading up to in a big way for a long time.
Yep.
I've seen some of it, not all of it, a few scenes.
Sure.
Michael, you've seen it all. It is the world's worst thing that ever happened to the world, right?
I mean, look, I definitely wouldn't go that far because we live in a world that had a Holocaust.
Yeah.
and like genocides and
Yep.
this is just a bad episode of Power Rangers. Like, let's keep it in perspective. But imagine the promise, which is Countdown to Destruction.
Yep.
Probably,
Which was the best finale Power Rangers had.
if not the best two-parter in Power Rangers history, it's easily in the top 3.
Yep.
Right?
Just a fantastic final episode.
Yeah.
Ups the stakes, very emotionally satisfying.
Mix that with the prospect of a whole bunch of your favourite characters returning
Yep.
to a show that some of them haven't been on in 15 years.
Yep.
You know, bringing their expertise, bringing their knowledge, just bringing themselves back for an all-out war fight scene.
Yep. For the fate of the planet.
Yep. It's just not good.
The thing is, given what they had to work with,
Yep.
I'm not sure they could have made something less satisfying.
Yeah, probably not. I mean, other than not using any of that footage at all.
Yep.
It's... Here's... And I have to say, I think this is genuinely the problem with modern Power Rangers.
Yep.
2 problems.
Yep.
One is that the CG is terrible.
Yep.
And it can't be fixed because they're doing, like, big budget CG scenes on a shitty TV budget.
Yep.
And that's just how it is, and I understand that.
Yep.
But I think they should use that as the decision to use puppetry instead.
Yep.
The other is that none of the monsters have human faces anymore.
Yep.
Like, they're all, like, shiny costumes.
Yeah.
And it's impossible to act in one of them.
They don't emote. They're just
Like,
set.
you have to act with your hands, basically. And it just... The best Power Rangers villains have either been human
Yep.
or people in really good suits.
Yep.
Because you can see when Rita is happy or when she's angry, she can act. That's a character. Squat and Babu can't really act in those suits.
No.
You have to get a lot of it across in physical performance.
Yeah.
And it's just not happening.
No. And that's fine for secondary villains that are
the
mostly
monster of the
gags.
week, right?
Yeah.
But for, like, your big season-ending bad guy Emperor,
Yeah.
he needs to be able to, like,
Move
talk.
his face, basically. But I think, like, that's a Megaforce problem overall. I think what was really problematic about this episode was they brought back old characters in a way that you could have swapped any of them out for anyone else and had no change in the dialogue.
Look, if you're going to watch this episode and don't want spoilers,
Yeah.
skip ahead a couple of minutes now,
Yeah.
because we're going to be talking about it for a while. Basically, they bring... the city has been kind of in ruins, like a shitty budget version of Countdown to Destruction.
Yeah.
The Megazord was destroyed in the previous episode.
Yeah.
So the Rangers are pretty fucked.
Yeah.
But they all get, we have to do our job and save the city. That's fine. So while they're doing that, we get these, like, 30-second shots of other Rangers, past Rangers, coming back and, like, helping people out.
Now, when we say past Rangers, not in their suits, they're just the actors.
No, they're just the actors, except their helmets flash over their faces.
Just to let you
Just
know.
in case you didn't remember that black guy was on the show 15 years ago.
Yeah. Which is fine. I get why...
The kids don't know what Power Rangers Turbo was.
Yeah.
They don't get the same burst of joy that I get when I see TJ.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, that entire scene was shit, but if it wasn't good to see TJ and Cassie back,
Yeah.
that was worth seeing.
Yeah, but the problem is that it wasn't TJ and Cassie in anything except for their face.
They saved 2 dudes from a lift.
Yeah.
Like...
And that's the extent of what they do. And what they say doesn't relate to their characters at all. It's just...
Tommy lands on the front of a car,
Yeah.
uses Saban to help a kid out of the back of the car that's teetering off a cliff.
Yeah.
And that's it.
That's it.
It's just...
Profoundly unsatisfying.
Yeah.
And then when we get to the final battle, there's...
sorry, before we get to the final battle,
Yeah.
if only they'd gotten to do, like, a punch.
Yeah.
Like, 1 punch each.
Yeah.
Like, it would have redeemed it
That's
in every
another
way.
thing. None of the actors get to do any martial arts.
No.
There's no fighting except when they're in their costumes for the final battle.
Yeah, I mean, it's just... Surely those guys can still throw a punch. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like I can throw a punch, and I was never the star of a national action-adventure TV show.
Yeah.
like, give them something to do. I get that it's important that they're helping.
Yeah.
But it's just, let's be honest, no one's watching this show to watch the important moral lessons.
Yeah.
Right? We're watching this show because it's got explosions and punching. And it would just have been nice to see some of them get to throw a punch.
And it's not like the Lightspeed rescue guys turn up in a fire truck because they're the rescue people, so they do the rescue stuff.
That would have been great.
That would have been great.
Actually would have explained it.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been great if, for example, because there's a spaceship bit where the guys crash down from a spaceship.
Yep.
It's not like we're in space and we need a bit of trouble. TJ and Cassie show up.
Yeah.
You know, there's no context. They're just random people that show up.
Who, I guess, the assumption is that they've just been hanging out in the city, like every Power Ranger in the from.
Like my reading of it was that something bad happened in the city. All the Rangers sort of congregated and they're around the city.
But I mean, first, why didn't they do that every other year that something bad happened in around November?
Yeah.
It's just, and then the final. So they all assemble in a quarry.
Yeah.
Because
of course,
God love this show.
Yeah.
And
we see them appear on the cliff faces, on like the top of the cliff in the distance.
In their teams. And all their teams are named.
Yeah.
Which seems weird because I don't know that it's ever happened in universe before.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know that the Time Force guys were called themselves Time Force Power Rangers.
Yeah, it's especially with the Mighty Morphin, because they're like, it's the Mighty Morphin Rangers. And it's like, no, I think that's just a branding thing, but that's fine.
Yeah, you know.
And then when...
And also, I'm sure they skip one. I wasn't counting, and I don't have access to it again to watch it.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure we don't get every team.
We'll have to check that out.
When it's,
But then the Rangers appear in a group in the quarry.
Yep.
And some of them, the actors who they have, take their helmets off.
Yep.
And then when it's time to fight again, they put their helmets on.
First off, I have to say, right, the taking the helmets off happens in slow motion.
Yep.
That is an incredibly cool scene.
Yeah.
Right? All of those guys taking their helmets off and being, hey, it's that guy who I love. That's great.
Yeah.
There's two issues.
Yeah.
One is that they could only afford like a dozen guys.
Yep. Less than, I think.
Yeah, it's not many.
Yeah.
And it's a weirdly eclectic group.
Yeah, like you get 2 from some teams and none from others, for example.
And I understand that the show has a limited budget to work with, but my understanding is that that entire thing was poorly handled.
Yeah. And I think once a Ranger demonstrated that it's much better to get like a group of 4 or 5 people back and do those characters justice than get 10 or 11 and not do anything with them.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, if they'd gotten Jason David Frank and TJ or Cassie and like a Time Force Ranger and a Dino Thunder Ranger and one other from kind of the later period, maybe a Samurai.
Yeah.
Those guys could have been like characters.
Yeah.
And they could have gotten a proper scene each.
Yeah.
There's too many.
They could have had a job to do.
I don't think any of them get a line in that final scene other than Jason David Frank.
Yeah. And his lines are the laziest version of what you could have. It's the most generic. He just spouts.
Hey guys, it's a big fight. Have to do. So power lots, Rangers. Morphin!
We're so proud of you as people.
Yeah.
And as Power Rangers, and it's an honour to be here with you right now. It's just like there's no thought or effort put in. Now, Michael.
Yep.
Forever Red.
Yep.
Fantastic episode.
Yep.
What's the one bit that gets you most pumped in that whole episode?
Oh, Matt, that would be the sequence where all 10 of them morph in order.
That's exactly right.
Because it's it's just incredible.
Because that's what you want.
Yes.
Like, you want to see them morph, because that's the bit that really gets you jazzed.
Because they're Power Rangers.
Because they're Power Rangers. That's what they do. Yeah. They're morphing.
And that's the bit that promises that a fight is about to happen.
Yeah. Now, what's the one thing that doesn't happen in this episode?
Oh, Matt, that would be many things.
Yeah, okay.
Like consistent characterization, interesting fights, but that would be none of them morph.
None of them morph. And I feel like that's a demonstration of the fact that the people handling this had no understanding of what people wanted to see.
The issue is, obviously they couldn't get all of them unmorphed.
Yeah.
So you couldn't do 20 group morphs in order.
No, that's fine. But all they needed to do was have the Rangers you saw as humans in the previous scenes meet up with the Megaforce Rangers. They morph. They're like, we're here to help you out. Let's do this together. They morph. And then even then they're a bit slightly outmatched, so they call in the rest of the Rangers
Yes.
who don't need to morph.
That would be good.
It's very simple solution. I thought of that just then. It's
He's
not...
look. The other thing about the helmet removing scenes is because it's in slow motion, it's incredibly obvious that they are just holding their helmets in front of their faces and they just move them to the side.
Yeah.
Like, they do, like, lift them. But because those helmets don't just come off, you've got to unclasp them and lift them, and then they don't look like they're helmets.
And then you have helmet hair.
So they're just holding them.
Yeah.
And then they go...
Yeah, they move them out of the way.
It just doesn't look good in slow motion. It doesn't work.
Yeah, so incredibly unsatisfying.
And then
from
the
start to finish.
fight, I mean, look, it uses some of the Japanese footage, and it's good, but it's...
But what it also is the Power Rangers fighting against the Megaforce equivalent of Putties.
Yes.
Which when
Many of them.
Yeah, there's a lot. But the idea that the grand fight that all the Power Rangers have to assemble to overcome...
Is 600 Putties.
Yeah.
Yeah. And at the same time, the red and silver Megaforce Rangers are on the kind of command ship and they fight an Emperor dude.
Yeah.
You know the thing about this season, how they can change into the powers of other Power Rangers?
Yeah.
You'd think they'd do that in the finale, wouldn't you?
Yeah, they do, briefly.
Very, very briefly.
Yeah. Yeah, look, the whole thing was a wasted opportunity, and I would take Forever Red or Once a Ranger over this any day.
Oh, I mean, that's not even a contest. I would take, like, last week's episode.
The Power
with the
Rangers.
Lizinator.
Yeah.
Oh, it's... Yeah, it's... The worst part is that it's unsatisfying.
Yeah.
And we haven't even seen all the bits in between yet.
Yeah.
Like, we're coming to it really as people who had kind of a 10-year gap.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
But, like, we're people that it would be very easy for us to get a lot out of Jason David Frank coming back and doing something, or especially TJ and Cassie coming back and doing something. Like, it was a low bar they had to clear, and they missed it entirely.
Yeah. It's just... Yeah, it's not good.
I mean, if you have an episode of Power Rangers with TJ and Cassie, and the phrases "Let's rocket" and "Shift into turbo" do not feature, you've failed your job.
I mean, I would definitely agree there. Even if they don't say them as they're morphing, even if they just said it, like, ironically, like TJ's got to drive a car to get away from a dude, and he says, "I'd better shift into turbo," and then he winks at the camera. That would have been better.
Yeah,
it's all right. We're gonna go watch football season, and hopefully I won't be anywhere near as disappointed. Matt, you said you knew some things about football.
Yeah, American football.
You have to like run it each. All I know is what I've seen in Forrest Gump.
Okay, that's not a lot.
You got to run, Matt. Run.
There's a bit of running. The big difference between most sports, especially Australian sports, and this one.
Okay, well that's not a great baseline for me, but go on.
It's not a sport where it's played continuously. There's like, I'm trying to think of a way that doesn't use sporting jargon.
No, that's fine. You can. I know what the word continuously means.
They do a thing,
right,
and then they stop, and then they reset and they try again, basically.
Right.
So the two teams line up against each other. And
so in NRL, which is our rugby league,
yeah,
they do that kind of every 6 tackles.
Essentially,
right?
Yeah, but in this they have a lot more options because they can throw the board forward, they can run, they have different.
And is that why they yell weird numbers at each other?
That's right, because what they're doing, it's like chess basically.
Okay, yeah,
which is why I quite like it, because it's really strategic in that they all have. It's basically coach against coach, and they're using the players as little chess pieces.
Right.
They set themselves up in little formations, and they decide on a move, and then they execute it. But the difference between this and chess is the move can fail.
Right.
And then once that fails, or they do really well and they score, they reset and try again.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's a really cool game. It's one of the few sports I enjoy watching.
How much of that do you think will be reflected in this episode of Power Rangers?
Not very much.
Yeah, I guess we're going to go check that out.
All right, let's do that right now.
Do you reckon it's a football monster, or do you think it's an unrelated monster tagged into a football-themed episode?
I could see the Japanese shooting like a a football monster. I mean, like the Americans will love this.
Yeah.
because it's like I think
We've already had
I'm surprised they
Babe
have-
Ruthless.
Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't dressed like a monster up in a hot dog outfit and being like the Americans will love this.
Oh no, it's Uncle Godzilla Sam. Imagine Godzilla in that big American flag hat. Godzilla wants you to die.
Oh, it's already great.
Oh, it's already going to be disappointing.
Yeah.
It's like Super Megaforce all over again. Can I just say one last thing? I'm not done.
Yeah.
I don't think any of the actors are bad actors.
No.
I don't think any of them are ever going to win an Oscar.
No.
But I would be happy to be proven wrong on that.
Yeah.
I think they would all be capable of holding up like a sitcom on their own.
Yeah.
Right? Or as part of a cast.
Yeah.
But the material they're given is so terrible. It's just,
They look bad.
yeah.
And like Corone from Lost Galaxy
Yep.
and In Space is in this.
Yep.
She was one of my favourite characters. When we were talking about our dream list of Rangers last episode, one of the things that made me not want to pick her is that because I saw her in this episode and it made me sad.
Yep.
Because she looks bad because there's nothing of her character in there. It's just the actor standing around.
Yeah.
And it just lessened in my appreciation for that
Like,
character.
if you've seen footage of the 5 Rangers or the 6 Rangers from Super Megaforce just together, like, off-screen,
Yeah.
they're joking, they're having a great time, they look like they're having fun.
Yeah.
On camera, they are all just, like, planks of wood.
Yeah.
It's like they're reading the dialogue from Star Wars Episode 2.
Yeah.
I hate sand. It's so sandy. It's unacceptable.
Yeah.
Hopefully next year will be better.
Yeah, well, we're getting Judlin back to the program.
That's the only reason I have any hope at this stage.
I think it's a good reason to have hope.
It
you
is
know?
a good reason to have hope.
Cool. Alright, let's go do it.
Alright, see you guys.
Soon.
Beep, beep, boop, boop, boop.
Alright, welcome back.
Yeah.
So if you were hoping that we'd just watch a good episode to lift us up out of our funk, we're sorry, but
We
no.
are full of funk.
Yeah. It was
Yeah, that wasn't great.
it wasn't great. And you did not need to know anything about American football because it did not.
I know that it's important that you do your best. It's important that you try.
And believe in yourself.
Even if you're grossly incompetent at stuff, you can get on a team.
Yeah. I like that the name of the episode was Football Season, and the first line of the episode was, I'm psyched about football season, which, when you're looking for a way into the subject of the episode, is
Yeah.
about as lazy
There
as
it is. There it is.
He's trying to get... No, it's like a dual meaning. That he's hoping that it will get kids excited for this episode.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm
man,
s-
maybe I should be too.
Yeah. Not actual football season, but this episode.
This episode.
Called
Football
football
season.
season.
Entitled Football Season, yeah. So, they're psyched about... Well, Jason's psyched about football season. Tommy is not, because he wants to be on the team. He wants to be the star quarterback, despite never having played football before.
So, I mean, here's the question.
Yeah.
Because this is the through line of the episode.
Yeah.
Why does he want to play football?
Because it's what all the cool people do.
But, like, he's, like, state champion martial artist.
Yeah.
He's got a sport that he does all the time and he's very good at.
Yeah.
Wanting to also be incredibly good at football. So he's like you can't just... Yeah, and I also want to be state swimming champion and top... I want to beat Andre Agassi at tennis. Like...
I kind of buy it for Tommy's character, though, because he's the special ranger. Like, he has
Sure.
to be the special one. He can't just be on the football team. He has to be the star quarterback. Yeah.
Unfortunately, the show doesn't teach him a lesson about
No, it
just
doesn't.
like that you've got a
Picking
thing
your
that you're good
battles
at,
and,
and it's
yeah.
fine to like want other things, but let other people have a go sometimes.
Speaking of weird lessons,
Sure.
this is another, and like, I'm so sick of self-confidence episodes, because we just had like 3 in a row.
This is the 3rd episode in the last 4
Yeah.
about someone wanting to be on a team, not being good enough for tryouts,
Yeah.
then getting the confidence to be good at tryouts.
Yeah. So that's extremely frustrating in itself.
Yep.
But we also see consistently that Bulk's problem is that he has way too much self-confidence.
Yep.
In that he assumes he can do everything, and it always leads to his downfall and embarrassment. Consistently. So it's this weird message of, you need to have a lot of self-confidence so you succeed, but if you have a bit too much, you'll be the class clown and end up in detention every time. Yeah.
I
So you
guess
really have to
it's,
thread
like,
the needle on that confidence
It's
level.
fine to have self-confidence, but if you are genuinely not good at the thing...
Like, for example, if you've never played the sport before.
Well, yeah, okay, except for when you're a Power Ranger. Also, don't they have some sort of degree of super strength out of costume, or no?
No.
Do they?
No.
No, am I making that up?
Yeah.
Okay. Because otherwise that would be extremely unfair.
That would be unfair.
I mean, I feel it's unfair anyway, one team having 4 Power Rangers on it.
Yeah.
But, so, Bulk wants to be on the team, and he practices in the hallway, and they knock over Mr. Kaplan.
His
Whatever.
wig comes off because you can't have Mr. Kaplan without his wig coming off.
Bulk's like a big guy.
Yeah.
But we're shown in the show that he's, like, reasonably athletic.
Yeah.
He was a push-up bench press
bench
champion,
press
champion
Sure, yeah.
before Jason took his record. Like,
Yeah.
he's not, like, fat and unfit.
No.
Wouldn't that make him a pretty good football player?
Well, he makes the team.
Well, sure, but, like, everyone's like, Bulk will never be on the team.
Because he's an idiot.
Yeah, I think that it's weird that he gets an offensive position because you'd think he'd be a defensive guy because he's the sort of dude where you'd want him blocking.
He's
so he
the brick wall,
He's,
yeah.
stand up, people just hit him, which would totally work for him. He's a strong dude and he's large.
Yeah.
He's not, like, as the show demonstrates, he doesn't have grace, he's not fast on his feet, but he doesn't necessarily need to.
Oh, no, he does have grace eventually, Matt.
Yes.
We had the right amount of Bulk and Skull last week, and this week we had...
For about 3 times as much.
Yep. So, look, Principal Kaplan gives Bulk and Skull detention again. They've got to have figured out that that's not a worthy punishment for them.
Well, it's not teaching them lessons.
No, I'm pretty sure they have infinite detention.
Yeah.
So giving them more detention...
Means nothing at this point.
Yeah. Oh no, you're going to have to go to detention again. Well, guess what? I was already going to do that.
And all they ever do is hang out. Like, they trained for football in their detention this week, so...
I feel like in a modern American school, they'd have been expelled after week 1.
Yeah.
Like, just
Especially
zero
after
tolerance.
you, like, spear tackle the principal of the school
Yeah.
onto a staircase.
Broke his back.
I was
hit his
really
head.
worried about that staircase.
Yeah. And you should be.
Yeah, I don't want to like frighten people and say stairs are dangerous, but tackling someone into a set of stairs
Not a good plan.
genuinely is dangerous.
Yeah, don't do it, kids. It's not funny. Like, Jason and Tommy sitting their arms crossed like, ha 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 ha
Well,
ha.
I mean, they can see everything's fine.
Well, you know, there's delayed injuries. Next week, Principal Kaplan turns up to school in a wheelchair, like
Yeah.
Professor Xavier, and they're like, oh, I feel bad for laughing now
Whoops,
that he's
yeah.
disabled. Anyway.
Yeah, so they're at the juice bar.
Yeah.
And they're all kind of chatting. It's the girls and Tommy.
Yeah.
And the girls are like, Tommy, you be on the team. And Tommy makes the reasonable point that he's never played the sport before.
That might be a problem.
That might be a problem. Yeah. Which is a good point, I think.
Yep.
You know, I feel like if he wanted to be on the football team, he should maybe have thought about it before the day of tryouts.
Yes. I think what the lesson of this episode should have been is that you don't have to be good at everything.
Yep.
It's okay to have your specialties.
Have your thing, yeah.
But no.
No, the lesson is you can be good at everything provided you are special.
Yes. Provided you're the 6th Ranger, you
Yeah.
can be in charge of everyone and everything.
So Ernie,
Yeah.
you're not going to believe it, Matt, but Ernie was a pro football player in college. Ernie says that sentence, and Matt and I, in unison, in actually perfect identical timing, said, "You're right, we don't believe it."
Yeah, it was creepy.
It was creepy and amazing.
Even the inflection was the same. It was messed up. We spent too much time together.
Yeah. Recording this for you, so you better be happy about it. That's you, Brandon.
Yeah, you're probably...
Statistically, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he could have been a pro football player, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, he's obviously let himself go a bit, but that's fine.
He drinks a lot of juice.
He seems very happy, so that's
Oh,
what
totally.
really matters.
More power to him.
He's going to train Tommy,
Yes,
basically.
that's what it comes down to, which involves him getting a whistle, despite the fact that they trade indoors the whole time.
No, the whistle is important. Every coach wears
The
a
whistle is symbolic.
It is a symbol.
Yeah,
So I just
the
know.
guy in charge has a whistle.
It's a whistle.
Yeah. He also wears a coach's jacket, despite the fact that there's no indication that's any cooler in there than it was previously.
Yeah.
But that's fine.
I'm going to turn the aircon on so that I can wear my jacket.
Yeah.
So we get kind of like a 3-way montage or like mashup of clips.
Yeah.
The Rangers are playing like tag football, touch football in the park.
It's if you're Australian, you'll know OzTag.
Yep.
It's the American equivalent of that, which involves flags
Yep.
that they wear on them. It's basically football without the tackling in
Yeah.
both
Yeah.
instances.
You have to take their tag that hangs out of their pants.
Yeah. I can
It's not a
say...
bad idea.
I know. I can say unequivocally, though, that even with my limited knowledge of American football, they were not playing that properly in any way, shape, or form.
I enjoyed watching them just having a nice time and
Oh,
being
it was
friends.
fun.
You know, it
It's-
was cool.
Kind of like those issues of X-Men where it's them just playing a sport together.
Baseball.
Playing
Always
whatever.
baseball, yeah.
They do basketball sometimes.
Oh, sure.
Just hanging out, and we don't really get any character development like you would in X-Men, but that's
Yeah.
fine. It's just them being
They're
real
having
people.
fun.
Yeah.
Because it turns out that when they're not fighting monsters, they just play
They're
football
people,
and shit.
yeah.
And you get to see Billy's guns, which are pretty
Yeah,
epic.
Billy's ripped.
He is ripped as shit. When he's wearing sleeveless shirts, you're like, whoa!
Although that's not, I don't think that's out of character. Like, there's
No.
such thing as a huge Dorkatron 9000 who is also shredded to hell.
Absolutely.
Yeah, look at us.
Don't.
Don't ever look at us. There's a reason this is a podcast.
Oh, shit. I mean, we're not like the creature from the Black Lagoon. And even he got his own movie, so he can't have been that bad to look at. So, and while they're doing that, Bulk and Skull are training in detention.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Skull is reading from a book called How to Play Football,
That's a good book.
which I think that's a nice kind of... Like, that's, of
Do you
course,
think
that's...
that was a real book? Or do you think
It
someone
could be.
put through that together?
Look, I'd say there's probably a real book called How to Play Football.
Yeah, but do you
that's
think that
no.
one
I think
particularly-
that's a prop.
I don't know, that cover looked more professionally done than they would have put effort into for that show, you know?
So Bulk has a tutu on.
Yep, he says a classic line to Skull, "I'm gonna cream you in my tutu." Which, I mean, out of context is a lot more golden.
And so he's doing the usual, like, balancing a book on his head, kind of trying to learn
Yeah, the
grace.
point is that he's supposed to be learning grace and dexterity. So he puts on a tutu, which is just... Like, we know he's not that stupid.
Yeah.
But we have to buy it because that's the gag. He's wearing ladies' clothes. Ha ha ha. Get it? Cross-dressing? Oh dear.
So anyway, and at the same time, Ernie is training Tommy.
Yeah.
Tommy's problem, Matt,
Yeah.
is that he is too good at karate.
This is actually, to me, a great gag.
This is classic.
So Ernie shows him he's a defense like prep, right? Left 3 steps,
Yeah.
right 2 steps.
Yeah.
Left 3 steps, right 2 steps.
Just kind of a running agility, like, get your cardio going sort of thing. Just a drill, not
Yeah.
a big deal.
Yeah.
So Tommy does left 3, right 2, left 3, karate stance. Oh no! And he says to Ernie, "I've got 2 left feet."
Yeah.
The issue is that you've got 2 karate feet.
Yeah.
Like,
You're actually a surprisingly agile man.
yeah, you're so good at karate that you just by default...
Go to karate.
Yeah.
And then we go to, Ernie is supporting, like a
tackle dummy.
tackle dummy kind of thing.
Yeah.
And he gives Tommy some pointers, like, you know, get a foothold, don't waver. Tommy does a flying kick at the tackle dummy. Like a flying
The idea
kick
of running at, like, a humanoid shape
without doing
a flying kick is
It's
entirely
fine to
impossible
Tommy,
to
yeah.
Tommy.
This is easily my favourite moment of the episode.
Especially because the look on Ernie's face is just like, nope, no,
That's
not
not
that.
the one.
You almost had it.
Yeah, it's the same look as if someone had tried and failed in a normal way.
Yeah.
Their tackle wasn't great. I do love the thought of Tommy now being on the team and in the middle of a game, like, panicking under a stressful
Yeah, in
situation.
the heat of the moment.
And doing a flying kick and taking a guy out. I feel like there's not a whistle for that.
I mean, those flying kicks work on Moon Witch monsters.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
It'd snap a regular man's head just straight off.
I can just imagine that happening. Everyone on the field stopping, complete silence for a second, and then the crowd going
Yeah, it goes wild.
nuts.
Yeah.
No, before that happens, Tommy just goes into karate pose and goes, Kya! And then the crowd is like...
Yeah.
But Tommy's foot, like, went through this guy.
Oh, this guy's gone. This guy's outie. His helmet came off, like his helmeted head detached from his shoulder padded shoulders and flew through the goalpost. That's the moment.
Oh.
He goes into stance, and in front of him, he goes.
No. Behind him.
Well, how could it be behind?
He turns around.
Oh, because he's a Power Ranger.
He doesn't look at the explosion.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Oh god, that would be amazing.
So we're 7 minutes into this episode now.
Yeah.
No monster.
No.
Yet.
No, it's weird, isn't it?
We've seen Rita.
Yeah.
But we haven't seen any kind of monster.
Yep.
And that's a third of the episode.
Yeah.
And the monster does feel underdeveloped when we get to him.
That's absolutely true.
But we'll get to him. So they send some putties down.
Yep.
The Rangers... I mean, look, it's technically a fight, but really it's like a strange,
friendly
abstracted
football
football
game.
match.
Yeah.
With punching.
Billy has the football, and he's trying to run to, like, an undefined
Place.
end zone.
Yeah.
And when he does that, that's the end of the fight.
Yeah.
I mean, that also coincides with all the putties being defeated.
But the dumb thing about Billy is that on, like, even weeks, he's a competent fighter up there with the rest of them.
Yeah.
On odd weeks, he's useless and, like...
And a nerd.
And shouldn't be punching anything.
Yeah.
It's just...
It's very strange.
It's incongruous. Yeah.
But it's a interesting, if completely non-tentacle fight. scene.
Sure, yeah.
And again, happy for something new. So.
yeah, nice to see some variation.
Yeah.
I was disappointed that those putties didn't have, like, football helmets on.
Yeah.
But we'll deal with that.
They do a lot of that thing where they just flip way more than they need to.
At the end of the fight, Kimberly flips over to everyone else.
Yeah. Well, when you're in the mood. You know?
Yeah, I would if I could.
Yeah.
So it was at this point that they all went back to the command center, and Tim said, I want to see... Do you want to tell them what you said?
I don't remember what
Tim said, I want to see a cut where everything Zordon says
I did say that,
is
yeah.
just replaced with a kazoo making the noises.
Because of the effects they put on his face to, like, blend the frames together, and he just looks sort of like a wobbling head, like he's not clearly speaking. His lips tend to purse a lot, I notice, and they sort of stay like that because it's like an average of his face. So it just looks to me like he's going...
I would imagine that it would be much like Chewbacca. Like, he does that, and
they all understand.
And the Rangers, like, turn to walk to the viewing globe. And, like,
Yeah.
And I think you wouldn't lose a whole lot. Because he only says very obvious exposition.
The
really.
only thing you'd lose is the name of half the monsters.
That's true.
And you know what? The Rangers probably repeat
A lot of what he
most
says.
of the detailed parts of what he says.
You could get 80% by context.
Easy,
Absolutely. Yeah. Alright, that's our next project.
Yep. Kazordon.
Kazordon.
Alright, this is something that I noticed this week, and I'm sure they've done previously, but it's never, like, clicked in my mind as strange before. When they morph, they look directly at the camera,
yeah.
wherever the camera is.
I did notice that. I think it's because this time the camera
Is
when
it a
Tommy
weird
morphs,
high angle?
It's high and just like slightly off
Yeah,
the
over to
center
the
of the
left.
room.
And he
Yeah.
actually, like, turns to look at it.
Yeah.
It feels like a botched take. He glances over at the camera,
Yeah.
says an extra line of whatever it was, I don't remember, then
Looks back at the camera.
over again to morph.
Yeah. But you notice that a lot of the time when they morph, they're speaking to Zordon, and they spin around to the viewing globe to morph.
Yeah, but it's not to the viewing globe, it's like
It's to the audience.
to the left in the sky,
Yeah.
where there's, like, a camera on a crane.
Yeah, it's to the audience.
Yeah.
It's for us.
It's just, it's like...
And it's like, I don't mind it all, it's just a little odd thing.
It does make me wish for, like, a reshot season of the Power Rangers in the Office documentary style. We're just, like, with the reaction shots and, like, the super awkward, like, documentary style strangeness of, like, watching Rita work and stuff.
That would be pretty great.
I'm imagining, like, a talking head interview with Finster. Like,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
told her it wasn't my best work. She said, send it down anyway. It gets defeated, I get blamed. I can't win.
I think I'd really enjoy seeing the next 10 seconds of a lot of scenes as well. If they had their, like, perfectly fobbed exposition, and then the weirdness that must be after
Yeah,
those
and then the moment that
non-conversations.
follows
Yeah.
just directly after.
Like, the Rangers morph and teleport straight to the fight.
Yeah.
What happens with Zordon and Alpha in that, like... Alright.
Yeah, Alpha just, like, shuffles off back to his desk, and, like, that's it. It just cuts, like, 2 seconds later instead.
Alpha just pulls out some knitting and just
Yeah,
starts.
like, it just sits back in a chair and it's like, well,
Or they're at like some sort of karate competition, and then all of a sudden Jason's like, I have to go, and runs off to the locker room. You don't follow Jason.
Jason, yeah.
You stay there with the coach being like, what the fuck do I do now?
well, no, you have the coach doing like a Jim Halpert reaction shot where he's like, you guys can imagine the face I did. You know what's
You
going
know
on.
the face.
Yeah, you know the face.
That would actually be pretty great.
Yeah.
Behind the scenes in the Moon Palace.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously they have to look at the camera because if they were looking anywhere other than the camera, that would be weird.
But it seemed very obvious this week that they were turning to face the camera. It's not something I've noticed before.
I think because the camera was in stranger positions, it was just they had to maneuver for it, maybe? I don't know. So, it's the Rhino Blaster is this week's monster.
I really thought there was a bat element to the Rhino Blaster.
He definitely looked bat-like.
Not mentioned.
No,
Do you think Rhino Blaster is like a rhinoplasty pun?
I couldn't possibly be.
I don't understand where the blaster comes from.
I suspect it comes from having only Rhino to work with
Yes.
and needing to get it done so you can go to the pub. Like,
Rhino Monster? No, that's lazy, Jim. Rhino Puncher? No, he doesn't punch anyone. Rhino Blaster.
yeah, okay, let's go. Clock off, ladies and
You've
gents.
cleared
That's it.
the minimum bar we
Yeah.
have.
Yeah.
Look, I did Polluticon, okay? Give
Rest
me a
on that
cheap
laurel
one,
for 20
okay?
episodes.
I like to think that there's a Survivor-style immunity where you do a good one. You can't be fired for doing a shit one next week.
Okay.
So, the Rhino Blaster, thank God, has a team of putties
In football
dressed
gear.
in football gear.
Yeah.
They've got white shirts with red numbers, they've got helmets. It's amazing.
It is
Anytime
quality.
the putties get into the spirit,
Yeah.
it's like when they had pumpkin heads.
Yeah.
It's worth watching.
It is, absolutely.
So they have like a weird football game-esque
Battle.
battle thing where they like form lines and just run at each other. It's thematic.
Yeah. Again, not football, but that's fine.
I mean, I guess I would say it is close enough to football.
Yeah.
that-
Definitely closer to football than the previous putty fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they beat the putties.
Well, the Power
No.
Rangers get wrecked.
Oh, sorry, the Power Rangers don't beat the putties.
No,
That's true.
absolutely. They get up by
The Power
4
Rangers-
putties. For some reason, they can handle when they're not morphed 10 putties. But as soon as the putties put on jerseys,
Red.
they're fucked.
Can I just say, the best thing about the Rhino Blaster is that somehow, despite looking like a Rhino Batman monster, he kind of looks like every football coach stereotype you have in your head.
Yeah, kind of.
And I cannot explain what it is about him.
It's something about the stoutness, I think.
It's like if he became a human.
It's that thick lack of neck.
Yeah.
Yeah, it actually very well could be the lack of neck.
Yeah.
So yeah, they get wrecked.
And
then
sucked into...
Well, then Rhino Blaster says, it's time for you to hit the showers, and shoots mist out of his mouth that takes them somewhere we haven't seen before, recently, another dimension.
But this, interestingly enough, isn't another dimension. It's a multi-dimensional vortex.
Is that how it's described?
That's how it's described. So it's like, you know, the bleed from Disney
Yes.
Comics? It's not another dimension. It's the weird
It's the
netherrealm
in-between,
between
yeah,
dimensions.
It basically looks like every other alternate dimension we've ever been to,
Yeah.
except they've got like a light tornado around them.
There's a reason for that.
Yeah, well, because it's a soundstage with a smoke machine. and
Not
black
because
fabric.
it's a soundstage, because it's that soundstage.
Sure. Hey, James, did we pack up the alternate dimension set?
Why
out.
would we do a thing like that? We're probably going to need it next week.
So, Tommy needs to step in.
Yep. Because all the other Rangers are off
Yep.
in the multi-dimensional vortex whirlwind.
They've been playing up lately the idea that Tommy has like
Tommy
a
is
limited
limited.
number of uses of his powers left.
Yeah.
And that he can only get involved like when everybody else is fucked. I wonder if they're foreshadowing, knowing that at some point in the nearish future they may have to, like, they'll run out of footage.
No, I think they definitely know at this point.
You
Sure.
have to, yeah, the only reason it'd come up so often and so overtly, surely, is they're trying to...
Well, but I mean, there is a season break between those things happening.
I feel like from the start of... You know how there's that quasi-season finale?
Yeah, from the Zayu
then,
2 footage.
They knew what they were doing. Because you know that soundtrack we listened to in the car?
Yes.
That's when they had recorded all that new music, right?
Sure.
In that music is also the White Ranger song and some references to Lord Zed.
Right.
Like, you know that song, Go Green Ranger Go?
Yep.
The part of the lyrics that we don't hear yet is, don't let Lord Zed put a spell on your mind. That's it.
Yep.
So they obviously knew Lord Zed was coming.
Sure.
It's not too long after that he loses his powers, so they knew.
Okay, fair enough.
The logic follows for me, at least.
So how far in the future is that?
I don't know exactly.
The new season is
2 episodes away.
Thank God, 2
We
episodes away.
are so excited.
He loses his powers like 6 episodes in, I think.
Uh-huh.
Relatively soon.
Quite soon.
And then comes back as the Right Ranger when?
Never. That's a mystery. Who
I think
is the White Ranger?
10, probably less.
Okay.
He's not gone for very long.
Yeah.
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 So, yeah, they knew. They had a plan.
Spoilers. Sorry.
That's remarkable that they had a plan at all, to be honest.
I think it's more like they had something they had to do, and they knew
It was
about
more
it.
a deadline than
Exactly.
Well, I
yeah.
mean, the thing is, at this point, they know that they are running out of Power Rangers footage.
Yeah.
Because they've had to order some.
Yeah.
So at this point, even though they've got like a season gap in between 60 and 61, they must be seriously considering, what are we going to do?
What is the lifespan?
Well,
of this?
again, I think at this point they've decided that they're going to start adapting.
Because there
next season.
was the option of them shooting more Zayu Ranger footage.
Yeah.
Which was going to be Zayu 3.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we've talked about that Zayu 3 Megazord design.
Yeah.
Which is, they were going to basically upgrade the Megazord for that.
Yeah.
I don't know if that would have been like a whole season's worth of footage.
Yeah. My reading the situation is that with the Zayu 2 stuff,
Yep.
they decided to do that in the original season 1, basically.
Yes.
They saw it was coming up, they made that decision. Once they'd committed to that and they started on that, that's when they were like, okay, we can't keep this going forever. Next opportunity we get, next season,
Yep.
we'll start adapting the other seasons.
Okay, I'm just going to show Tim the model sheet for that Zayu 3 Megazord, and Tim is going to cry that it was never made, because it is...
man.
Right?
It's pretty cool.
It's basically a streamlined version of the existing Megazord.
Do you know what year this was done in?
It would have been 93 or 94.
It's basically making the Megazord as cool as the Thunder Megazord.
Well, it's designed to integrate with the White Tiger Zord, because
Yeah.
obviously I guess they'd made the decision that was going to be
Yeah.
something that they did.
Mm.
But everything is just smoother, and where the original Megazord is kind of rectangular and blocky,
Yep.
this one is very sleek and curvy.
It definitely looks like an upgrade in the same way that the Thunder Megazord does.
Yep.
Which I think, well, I guess we'll get to this more when we
Get to it.
when it arrives. But
So soon.
one of the reasons that it actually works that they do that is because the Thunder Megazord doesn't look like just another one from a different season.
Yes.
It does look like an upgrade,
Yep.
which is something they lose a bit going forward because it doesn't always get better.
Sure.
So yeah, there's that.
I don't remember what we were talking about.
We got off track a
I
little
got
bit.
so excited about that little Megazord. My dream is that they make one of those in scale with the existing Legacy Megazord.
That would be pretty
It'd
cool.
never ever happen.
No.
But because it appeals to like 4 people in the world.
Who know about its existence.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Tommy has to join the fight.
Yes.
They're up to. So Tommy comes in. Now, you know those 4 putties that wrecked the Power Rangers 2 minutes
So
ago?
before we get to that,
Yeah.
Zordon says, my worst fear has been realised.
He does say that.
First, he says that so much it's lost all meaning.
Yeah.
I think we've heard him say it 5 or 6 times.
Yeah.
Always about a very specific system of events.
Yeah.
Like, was your worst fear that they would have to fight football putties and then they would end up in an alternate Nexus dimension?
I like the idea that every time one of those things comes to pass, he's like, okay, this has happened. My new worst fear
Yeah,
is that
I
it's a
guess
football cup putties.
He's
that
got a-
went fine. I guess I'm not afraid of that anymore.
What's my second worst fear?
Yeah. And then it keeps coming to pass.
Yeah, he keeps moving down the list. He's like, oh man, I'm gonna.
My 50th worst fear is, you know what? I think it'll actually be okay.
He also says it often, like, about them being in another dimension. You'd have to get the sense that it's gonna be okay at this point.
You'd want to believe that they're at least trying to work on proper teleportation to get them out of other dimensions.
Yeah.
Because it's a common problem.
It's happened... This is episode 58.
Yeah.
Do you think you'd say it's happened, like, 7 or 8 times?
Yes.
I would say more.
More than 1/10 of, like, the monsters they've fought?
I would guess 10. I would guess 10 times it's happened.
If you include Goldar's dungeon...
Yeah, which is another dimension, so, yeah.
Lots of times.
Yeah.
Figure that out, Alpha.
Well, don't they occasionally do it?
Just tap into their biometric mega frequencies.
Interspatial biovibrations, no?
It's like you don't know
you don't
anything.
even have a podcast.
Oh, dear. So, yeah, Tommy comes down to the fight.
Yeah.
I want to say, though, that he morphs in the command center and then appears flying, punching Putties. And in the series of 4 quick cuts, defeats the Putties that were the problem.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say before.
He doesn't even arrive and then fight them. Like, he defeats them.
In the space of 3 seconds from the scene started.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's quality.
It's pretty cool.
Very
So,
much good thing.
Again, another one of those things where you're like, oh, that's why everyone loves the Green Ranger. That's why the kids went nuts. Is because he's a lot cooler than and more effective than the other Rangers. Yeah. Anyway,
so...
that happens. And then Rita makes the monster grow.
That's right.
Yep.
Because, of course.
To which Tommy says, cheap shot, flag on the play, penalty, other football word. Like...
They're not trying.
It's like, touchdown, sports ball.
But if they, you know what? If they weren't gonna try, why did they try? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
No.
why try 1%? Where's the
think
value there? Round down and don't do it.
I think it's one of those things where, as we'll find when we write an episode, when you're doing that footage and they're moving their heads, you have to write something.
Okay.
So you're like, okay, they're doing football stuff, so football. Football.
Have we told people we're writing an episode?
We mentioned it last episode.
Oh, we did. Should we tell them a bit more detail?
No, because we're on 52 minutes.
Okay, sure. We'll talk about it later.
Gotta get this podcast done. We're on the clock.
Okay. Tommy has to throw the dragon dagger into the multi-dimensional mist.
Yeah, up his mist hole.
And then Jason can lock onto it.
You know what? Who knows? We don't see them do anything with it. We see that it works.
Zordon says if he can get a hold of it, he can use it to cut his way out of the vortex or something. Anyway.
He's got his own sword.
Yeah, well,
They've
it's not as
all
good as the
got
Dragon Dagger.
swords in their holsters all the time.
Do they all have swords in their guns?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
if that doesn't solve a problem, I don't know what does.
It's not a magic green one, guys.
That's true.
So the dinosaur comes out. We get to see it come out of the water, which I've been missing lately. Tries to fight this monster. Is not working out. He's just getting beat up real good.
Yep.
He even gets into the Dragon's Wood, which we
Yeah, he does.
see for only the second time ever.
Yep.
The cockpit. But then gets hit so hard he gets knocked out of it again. Which is maybe why he didn't do it before.
It's fun while it lasted.
Yeah.
It does seem safer to not be in it.
If you could remote control a giant fighting robot, definitely do it from a distance.
Yeah. So he recognizes this isn't going to work. If he's going to get it in the mist hole, he's going to trick the monster.
I'm not comfortable with us using that, by the way.
What, put his dagger in the mist hole?
Yep.
So he says to the monster basically, alright, I admit it, you're the best. If I'm going to die, at least send me to my friends who can die with them.
I want to point out that in order to get his dagger in the monster's mist hole, he does beg on his knees.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, it just happened. It did happen.
It did.
Don't get upset. I'm gonna cream you in my tutu.
The monster, for whatever reason, says...
Complies with that request.
Yeah, he's like, okay, I'm willing to do this for you. Opens his mist hole.
Fuck you.
The Green Ranger throws the dagger into the hole.
Yep.
Which they choose to take as showing that Tommy has
good at
good
football
throwing skills.
Despite the fact that it's not even a football-style throw.
No, and the fact that presumably that suction thing would suck it into the right place no matter where he threw it.
Yeah.
But that's fine. So that happens. The monster gets thrown a bit.
Yep.
the Dragonzord gets back up,
Yep.
Does some more fighting.
does a bit more fighting, and then we find out that the Rangers have escaped. You'd expect that the Rangers come through the portal. That's not what happens.
No.
Whole Megazord, baby.
The whole Megazord just warps in.
Yeah, just
Doesn't make a lick of sense because the Megazord wasn't there.
yeah.
But it's
It
awesome.
just strolls onto set like
Yeah.
no dramas. They have a nice little wave to each other, the Dragonzord and the Megazord.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense, but it's so cool that I'm totally willing to forgive it.
They do the Mega Dragonzord.
Yep, which you haven't seen for a while.
No, basically because it's kind of a worthless step between the Megazord
And the Ultrazord.
Titanic- Yeah,
Yeah.
the Ultrazord. Yeah.
And it's nowhere near as cool as Dragonzord Ultra Mode,
no.
which we haven't seen in ages and I miss.
Yeah.
And then they kill the monster.
Yep.
That's that.
Does that?
So back at the juice bar,
Yeah.
Principal Mr. Kaplan is announcing the people
Did
who
you
are on
say
the team.
Mr. Kaplan because he wasn't wearing a suit, and so he's not Principal Kaplan at the time?
Just because I think we've assumed that he's the principal, but I don't think the show's ever explicitly stated that. Maybe
It hasn't.
I don't know.
Do you think, like, he has his non-suit form and he has his suit form, and in between those stages he's like, it's principal time!
Education!
What's the animal? Quick, what would the animal be?
An owl, Tim.
Okay, fine.
Yeah,
It's a symbol of learning.
that does make sense.
But when he comes in, he always does a barrel roll.
No, because then he'd lose his toupee, which sits on top of his helmet.
No, it sits on top of the robot owl's head. It has a giant robot toupee also, and it spins and it falls off, and then you cut to him in the cockpit and his is falling off too.
They got a laugh track in there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. We're constantly making this show a lot better.
I mean, look, it's not hard.
So he's announcing the team, and he starts with Jason and Billy and Zach
Yeah.
to get them all out of the way. So good on them, I guess. I'm kind of uncomfortable for some reason with them all being on the team.
Well, I mean, it's like a team of 8 or 9 or 10.
It's
We only know like 5 male characters.
But, I don't know, there's some sort of implication that, like, of course everybody wants to be on that team and has tried to be on that team, and, like, I don't know why Billy would have any reason being on that team, say.
Well, he has, as we mentioned, huge
Mad
guns.
guns, yeah.
But
Those-
half the time he's incompetent at fighting.
That's fine. He could just use those guns to fire the ball.
That's a metaphor, right?
Not necessarily. He just, that quarterback arm, bang. Yeah, he'd be good at it, I
You're
think.
using lots of words that I don't know.
Okay, so
like arm and ball, for example.
the quarterback is the guy who
Does the big throwing.
throws the ball.
Right? Is there a...
He's got big arms, and he's a math nerd. So he could figure out where the ball's going to go using...
Does he sit at a quarter?
No.
Is there some sort of reason he's a quarterback?
Probably, I don't know.
Because there's a halfback
Yeah.
and a fullback. Those are both things.
Yeah.
So,
It's probably to do with where they are in the formation,
Right.
presumably.
sure, he's a quarterback.
Yep.
Okay, that's reasonable.
Yep.
Glad we sorted that out. I'm going to look that up and I'll put it in the show notes.
Mighty
Mighty Morphin
Morphins.
Ranger Danger, a sports podcast.
Many things have been said about this show, but none of them have been that we
Have been
provide useful sports information.
So the 4 male rangers are on the team.
Yep.
Then Bob and Ryan and
Matthew.
Michael. There's
Yeah.
a Michael.
There's a Michael and a Matthew.
Yep,
So-
we're on
both,
the team.
We're both on the team.
4 generic teenage boys / young adult men.
That's it.
Seems problematic.
Oh no, Tommy's not on the team.
That's really surprising and sad.
Although, did you guys notice that they show you
Yes.
what was I meant to get out of that?
So the thing is, Principal Kaplan
Has 2 sheets of paper
and
with
he's
the
dropped
team
one.
draft on it.
and he's too much of an idiot to know how many people are on his team. So,
Well, I buy that he has to make that announcement,
but it's not his
but
team.
he doesn't
Sure.
know about football.
But so, Bulk's on the team, still wearing his tutu.
Get it? Because Tutu.
I also have another question.
Yeah.
There's some cheerleaders in the background.
Yeah.
Why isn't Kimberly with them?
She's retired.
Because she's not a cheerleader.
She's presented as still a cheerleader in the previous episode.
No,
No,
she's not. Kelly goes out of her way to say everyone still talks about how great you were.
I assumed that was like at middle level, but now she would be like a...
No, because now she'd be like focusing on her studies clearly.
And her gymnastness.
Yeah, on other
Do you want to try gymnastics again there, Matt?
Nope.
Gymnastness, yeah.
I'll take my first answer, thank you.
Sure.
Yeah. So, yeah, Bulk's on the team, surprisingly. And then finally, the star quarterback on the team...
Darren.
Who's never...
Tommy didn't make it, he's going to have to learn a
The
lesson.
star quarterback who's never played the sport before.
That's right. The star player of the team learned to play literally today, Tommy. Yay.
Yay.
I mean, they want me to be happy, but someone else got bumped from that team.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not a good lesson. Not satisfying.
I just feel like even Jason, by walking into the episode going, I'm psyched for football season, with his sleeveless shirt and football, deserves the quarterback position more based on that alone.
Yes, absolutely. So that's reason number 73 why Jason is shafted by Tommy's presence.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Shafted for the pigskin.
In the mist hole.
In the mist hole. Cream you in my tutu.
Alright, I would love to be able to end the episode there, but we do have to go to the Ranger Danger Creature feature.
Sure. This is not going to be a great one for the Rhino Blaster.
No, not...
I feel like the episode failed Rhino Blaster.
The Rhino Blaster is a cool design. Like, he's interesting to look at. He could have been like a Rhino Bat monster. But he does, unfortunately, get stuck with 4 minions dressed in football gear.
I think what is really sad about this is that he gets completely and overwhelmingly outshined by Putties.
Yes.
In this episode, which is not a good position for a monster to be in.
No.
His only power that makes him any different from any other monsters is the fact that he can send people to other dimensions.
And even then...
That's
We-
not particularly
again-
unique.
Yeah, exactly. It's a power that about 10 other monsters have.
Yeah.
And he has a horn/sword laser, but
Which, again,
whatever.
most monsters have some sort of lasers coming out of somewhere. So, not very remarkable in any way. What do you think, Michael?
Is he better than the Lizanator?
I enjoyed him less than the Lizanator.
Yeah, I think so too.
Is he better than Frankenstein?
Yes.
Okay.
Look, I'm convinced that Tickle Sneezer, Wheel of Misfortune, and Frankenstein will never not be the bottom 3.
That's certainly, yeah. It's
Because
gonna
I'm
take-
really upset with Mr. Tickle Sneezer's position, and I understand why he falls there,
Frankly,
because he's not
he's
a
not
villain.
last. He's on his own special list.
Yes,
Yeah.
so I understand why he's there.
And then the Wheel of Misfortune is definitely the worst monster.
Yeah, if it was a ranking of characters as opposed to monsters,
Yeah.
he'd definitely be much
He's a,
higher.
he's a great character.
Yeah.
Alright, so this has not been a great couple of weeks for monsters lately.
No, we've been filling the bottom out. Though we did get quite a high one a few weeks ago.
Well, yeah, because the pumpkin wrapper was amazing.
That's right, that's what it was.
Do 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 do.
Yeah, that's what... Yeah, okay. That's what happened. That's
Yeah,
correct.
yeah, it is. I love that guy so much.
I know. Okay, so we're going to pop that monster, Rhino Blaster, 4th from the bottom on the list.
not great.
Not great. But yeah, the list is getting big.
Yeah, it is.
We're filling it
I
out.
mean, 60 episodes, that's nearly 60 monsters.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool.
So,
That's that episode done.
yeah. Thank you, Tim.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
We're now 2 episodes away from the end of season 1 of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
So we're going to do those 2 episodes, just the 2 of us, no
That's right.
guest.
We'll do a bit of reminiscing. We'll
Yep.
probably listen to Fields of Gold, the acoustic version by Sting. There'll be a lot of loot in the background.
You won't listen to Kukuka Combat instead?
We've done enough of that.
Totally similar.
I'm worried that if we use copyrighted music, Sting will sue us. That's my fear.
Okay, well, Matt had to get some royalty-free loot music to do in the background.
I'm sure that exists.
No doubt. No doubt.
So next week is Mighty Morphin Mutants.
Yep,
Which sounds exciting.
it does.
I mean, are they like mutant Power Ranger things?
Probably not. It probably
it's
just
about
started
GM
with...
food.
It's
Not as exciting as it sounds, I know.
But ahead of its time.
Yeah, progressive.
you think it's just like alliterative and
Yeah,
they're just
I think
mutants.
they had mutants as a word, and then they're like, you know what also starts with M?
Okay, sure. And then episode 60, an oyster stew.
Yeah, I think from memory, we don't get a good, satisfying season finale.
No.
We really get the
It's-
season finale at the start of season 2.
Yes.
All the shit goes down then, and we just sort of have to ride through the filler until then.
So we're very much looking forward to that.
Yes.
Which is coming up very soon.
Very soon.
That's a 3-parter.
Yep, that'll be the Mutiny Parts 1, 2, and 3.
Yep. And we've got a special episode coming up after that, which we'll talk about in a bit of time, because that's still a month and a half away.
Yep.
Thank you guys for listening again. That was football season.
That was
So I guess football season is over. It's cricket season now.
Yeah, I can definitely see them doing an episode on cricket, Michael. You know how the Americans love cricket.
You know, 6 and out, spin ball, fast bowler,
Something
underarm- wickets. Yep, wickets and stumps.
Stumps and
Yeah.
stumps. Wickets and stumps.
There's
I wonder if they have to ice the D as well in cricket. Probably not.
I don't think. No,
I don't think it's a game of yardage either.
No, probably not. Just because we use metric.
Yeah.
It's a game of mileage. No, wrong one.
No, still Imperial.
Meterage.
Meterage, yeah. Doesn't have the same ring to it, does it?
Meat ridge sounds like a terrible, terrible female genital euphemism.
Oh,
I went spelunking past her meat ridge.
That's definitely where we're going to end this
Good night
episode. We'll
and
see you
good
next
luck.
week. Meat ridge, 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 ridge.